mic's on. You're on. Okay, agenda.
Mr. Mayor, we have one change to the revised agenda. Staff would be asking the council to remove item D under consent agenda, the donation for the trail improvement from the Mid-Washington Sioux community, and move it to the June 27th meeting. After the agenda went out, the city attorney's office advised us that that is one of the few items out there that requires a supermajority vote from the full council. And so we'll need to move it to the 27th. The tribe has been advised that the item has been moved.
Okay. Anyone have anything else?
Motion to approve the revised agenda as amended.
Motion by
Second.
Councilmember Brewer, second by Councilmember Timmerman. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes. All right. No presentations, proclamations, or acknowledgements. So on to public comment. Commissioner Wolf.
Everyone.
There you go.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, everybody. Tom Wolf, Stack County Commissioner. This morning we were at a nice little meeting. I think you'll probably hear a little more about it from Josh and Tom, but they talked about self-driving cars, and I think it sounds like they are 10 or 20 years away, but they're moving along very quickly, and I think we'll see it in our lifetimes. Do you think that, Tom? From where
I think
it's
we
going?
will.
I think it's, but there's a lot of implications with that stuff, especially here where there's ice and whatever bad roads, so it's a little different here. We have a couple projects that we're waiting for bids on that will come, I think, on the 17th, and we're hoping they come in close to what we had estimated, because if they don't, they might get put on hold. The one is in Fire Lake on 1321 there, where you guys go to the scale meeting tomorrow. That's, they've cut trees and they've moved stuff, and I don't think I'm not going to vote on doing it at all costs. It's not within a certain range. Wait. We did the groundbreaking on our new addition to the county courthouse there last week. So that's up and running. That should be done in this late winter, early spring of 2021. The YMCA, we approved that last Tuesday at the county board meeting. It was a 5-0 vote. I believe it worked out. It's really the best use of the land. And people out there might think different, but I think houses wouldn't have been the best. And then that's all I have, other than I played baseball out at the Elko, I think, years ago, and now my son's going to play there tomorrow night. So you get a chance.
All right.
Any questions for me?
No, so the YMCA wasn't at the vote. What really wasn't too controversial by the time
It really fizzled. It just, everything they keep, whether it was the mosquitoes or the water or the traffic, the head counts, it was never that much. They put up a roadblock that somebody got 150 signatures to get an environmental impact statement, but most of the signatures weren't even from people that lived in Newmarket Township or anywhere around, so all over the state, which you just need them to live in the state is the rule, but there's, I just don't think it's going to be that much traffic, compared to if you had 30 houses there with 10 cars every single day on average, that's 300. The Y is not going to generate, I don't believe, half or a third of that. So anyhow, I know some people are very against it, but that's, I think it, time will tell. We'll see. But they're a good business. They do a good job at what they do. So I think they'll be all right. They want to stay around. So
How'd the township board
um,
take it? Or I suppose you haven't been.
I think they knew it was, it's zoned for that.
Right.
Every 10 years you do the comp plan, and every area gets like, whether it's industrial, commercial, housing, that was zoned for that. For us to have said no, they could then take us to court and say, show us why we can't do that. And then if we lose them, we pay their court costs, and then they can take off some of the stipulations that we put on there, like, we don't want this many buses and whatever. They can take off some of the conditions and say, so this way we controlled it a little bit better, that's the best, so.
Nice job.
So anyhow, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here for public comment? Patrick, you got anything? No? All right, we'll close public comment. Any further changes to consent?
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Motion by Timmerman, second by Berg. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda passes. No public hearings. Unintentional water use policy.
This is an item that had come up at our last council meeting. We had a resident, Mr. Bosch, had come in and he had a situation where he had an unintentional water use based on even the application of the unintentional use policy, which provides a break to the tiering structure, limiting it to a tier 2 level cost per 1,000 gallons. He felt that was still too much, and he'd asked the council to revisit the issue. The council has directed staff to bring this back at a future meeting, so we brought it back at our next meeting here. Really, I provide some information on the background of it, what the motivation was for it. Really what it was is a means to limit the impact for unintentional use to good customers, and that's defined as somebody who has been current in the last 12 months, their bills paid up to date. And we, over time, we've had 27 requests. It's been in place for a few years. 20 of those met eligibility requirements. We provided information on the average consideration that was provided, or relief that was provided under the policy, as well as the average gallons associated with it. If the council wants to make a change or wants to look at it, I think there's really 3 general options, and there's variations in between. One, I think, is you could leave it as it is today. If you feel it's appropriate and is serving the intent and current values of the council and the city. The second option is you could look at adjusting the tiering. Right now it's capped at tier 2, so anything up to 20,000 and beyond 20,000 won't be billed higher than the tier 2 rate structure. The council could lower that down to tier 1 for everything if they so chose during the months in which the relief is provided. And then the third option is just actually writing off some of the usage. For example, you would, the policy might say, take a look at the same time last year, or what the average usage is for that month, and then you would write off everything above and beyond that. I do have to point out for the council that historically the council has never written off usage. We have provided relief related to the cost of the water and fees, late fees, penalties and such. To my recollection, the council's never actually written off the usage itself, so that would be a change in overall philosophy. And that would open up the question that if we were to do that, would we then apply, open up the door to writing off usage associated with undue hardship cases, which we have come forward in appeals on occasion as well. Staff has no recommendation for this. This really is a policy decision, so we're looking for direction from the council.
Council, any thoughts? Otherwise, I personally think there's a lot to look at. I think the point that the guy was trying to get across was really, do we look at? Well, I think he was trying to get a lot of points across, but how closely do we look at those extreme situations and compare those to other cities? And I know in previous times where we've looked at water rates, we're really looking at average usage. We're not really looking at extreme cases. My personal opinion is that we wait till we have a full council. But at that time when we have a full council, those are some of the things that we would look at to address this. That's my opinion.
I'm fine waiting for a full council, but I feel that if we were to do anything, my standing would be to keep it as it is.
How you doing, Josh?
I mean, I can argue all sides of it.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if we want to wait till full council, I think we respect that too, so that we can get other opinions.
Sure, at that point too.
How busy is our meeting on the 27th? It's pretty hefty one, isn't
There is stuff on there, but I don't know how long you expect this conversation to be, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, just to frame it or whatever, so that maybe if there is gonna be some preparation, I mean, I guess I would look at, reducing it to the tier one perhaps, or, I don't think we'd be right to write it off, because then that just opens up a whole other discussion about every other type of situation that could call for waiving things and completely writing it off. Use the land, use the water. But I'd be open to considering, reducing it further to that tier one rate. I don't know how much of an impact that would have on these types of cases, but.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you guys both seem like it would be okay to continue until we have full council.
If
We can
that's
have
what you'd like to do, yes.
more in-depth discussion.
So just be clear, we just move this to the June 27th meeting then?
Yeah, I'm just curious what's all on that agenda, if it's gonna be a 4-hour.
Well, and it sounds like
meeting,
the
and this
current
is something
situation
that we-
isn't one that's pressing for the person that brought this up, so even if it had to wait till July.
Right, that was kind of what I was thinking.
So my thought is that we would simply schedule it as the last item under general business, and if the meeting's getting long and it's not a time-sensitive issue, the council could continue it to a follow-up meeting at this point, and if they want to address it then.
So I'll make a motion to continue this till the next meeting, assuming we have a full council at that meeting. Anyone else?
Second.
Motion by me, second by Councilmember Timmerman. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Items continued. Next item, petition for annexation for Elko 34 LLC.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. The city has received a petition for annexation for property located on the south side of the Pete's Hill Park property, east of Xerxes. The applicants are both with us tonight representing the development company Elko 34 LLC. A little background about the property. It obviously is located in Newmarket Township. Staff has been meeting over the last couple of years and reviewing concept plans with another member of the previous ownership group. The new ownership group was formed and there's some new owners. The concept plan currently includes 23 executive level twin home lots and 23 single-family lots. Annexation is required to develop in the fashion that they want to develop in on municipal services. The petition was received by the city and an orderly annexation agreement was presented to the township, which was approved by the township on June 4th. This is just kind of an overall layout of the property in the surrounding area. To the west is the golf course development of Boulder Point. To the north is, again, the Pete's Hill Park and the Windrose developments. And then surrounding the property on the east and south side is rural residential land in the township. It borders Xerxes Avenue. The property has quite a bit of topography to it. On the north side of the road, there's, or on the, the east side of Xerxes is an urban section of road, and then on the west side that butts the golf course, it turns into a rural section. Development of the property would require improvement of 273rd Street, which is currently a rural gravel road. We are suggesting that they continue the road section that you see in Xerxes on 273rd. The current development proposal looks like this. There's a large wetland area on the north side of the property that crosses the boundary between the city property and the upland area surrounding that wetland would, the current proposal would be that would be added to Pete's Hill Park. The property shown in dark brown, or the houses shown in dark brown are the twin home units, and then the single family units are shown in the lighter brown. There are two lots shown down here off of Beard Avenue that are still under consideration. by the planning commission. So those are totally decided yet if that will be used for park dedication or not. As part of our typical process, when a petition for annexation is received, we bring the proposed development to the planning commission for a recommendation to you to see if they recommend annexing the property based on this particular development. Is it consistent with the comprehensive plan? Does it appear to meet basic zoning requirements? And the planning commission did hear this request on the 28th of May and has recommended approval of the annexation. There are always conditions attached and things to note. Nothing that is extraordinary or out of the ordinary. The conditions recommended by the planning commission were included in your packet. The Parks Commission also has seen this request and has not made a formal recommendation. I'd like to note the Parks Commission is not a recommending body for the purposes of annexation. They're just are hearing it mostly to determine if they want land, cash, or a combination thereof. They have not made a recommendation. They're still to continue the item for additional discussion. A city can annex by ordinance or can annex by joint resolution. It's been our practice to recommend approving by joint resolution with the township, and we did attend the township meeting on June 4th. The orderly annexation agreement, as noted, was approved, noting that the property is adjacent to the city limits. A residential development is being proposed, so it is about to become urban in nature. City utilities are available to the property. 273rd Street, which is currently a township road, would be improved to the access to the development, which is the easterly boundary of the property. A city street would be extended north into the property to provide access to the lots. The annexation agreement provides 5 years of tax reimbursement to the town, which is the same provision that was included in the last orderly annexation agreement. And something new that was added to this agreement that was not in the last agreement is a provision for detachment of the property from the city should it not develop within 5 years. So the next steps are simply for the council to consider.
Now, Renee, the conditions, those aren't really conditions, those are just comments.
They're comments at this point? Yeah.
They're heads
Comments
up,
to be
they're
in-
heads up to the developer.
Right. Comments to consider upon submittal of a plat.
So at this time, as we're looking at this, really the only thing we're really looking at is just the annexation
Absolutely.
piece. It's nothing specific on the development. Will this be coming back to the council at another point to review the development in more
Yes.
detail? Okay.
That's correct.
With the township feedback with Beard Avenue and 273rd, is that something that we have to, if we say that we approve this annexation, is that written in stone that we're going to be taking over those roads?
Absolutely not. Those are
Okay.
comments intended strictly to be passed on to the city council
Okay.
for consideration and not to hold up annexation or development of this property or not as a condition of the annexation.
So we will be able to hear what Corey says about his capacity to be able to handle this, added roads, so forth,
Sure.
maintenance, or?
Would you like to speak in detail about those 3 comments at this time?
No, I'm just wondering if there's time in the future that we'll revisit this, the feedback from the township.
So, through the conversation, what we really did is we promised the township board that we would make the council aware of those concerns. Beyond that, there was no specific commitment.
My exact words to him were, it seems like a reasonable thing for us to have a discussion about. There was nothing committal beyond that, unless you felt differently.
I feel exactly as you represented it.
Okay.
It may be in here and I missed it, but regarding the development of the 5 years of tax reimbursement, is that paid? I'm assuming that's paid up front.
It's paid up front by the city.
So what happens if it goes back to the township? Do they pay us back?
No.
No. No, and that is why The detachment provision was attached, was at 5 years. If the property doesn't develop within 5 years, initially they had suggested if the property doesn't develop in 3 years. And so if we're paying you for 5 years tax reimbursement, we want to make them consistent.
And there's no mechanism to where we could recoup any of those funds?
Based on the city attorney's recommendation, no.
There is a certain logic to it though, because that property would now be in the city limit for the 5 years, so we would get roughly that equivalent amount in taxes over that 5-year period.
Yeah, that's correct.
And they've already approved this annexation agreement as presented with this.
They have, and then also the copy that was included in your packet wasn't signed, but we do have the signed copy tonight.
Council.
I'd like to move this forward as quick as possible. Sweet.
You agree? I do too. I would have expressed to the township board, and I'm not going to do it, but it would be great to have just like a master annexation agreement. Some of the details like that could be ironed out. I don't think it's completely fair if we pay upfront costs, or the developer pays upfront costs, and then we turn the land back, and now we're just out that money. But that's something that we can tackle at another point if the township's interested in having that discussion. But, yeah, this is the third time I've seen something on it, so. The developers are here. Do you have any thoughts or anything you want to add?
Mayor, council, staff, thanks for taking the time this evening. Questions you have, we're happy to answer. And
He's John, I'm Steve.
I'm sorry. Yes.
We hope that this 5-year concern is addressed in 5 months. Our objective is to go as quick as possible.
And that was the impression I had gotten.
Yeah.
Previous. But I've gotten a chance to meet you both, and I've heard a little bit of your experience.
Yeah.
You could give just maybe a 2-minute background on kind of what you guys do to the council.
Yeah, absolutely, go ahead.
Basically, I'm working on this project with the former group for probably 2-3 years, actually probably 10 if you want to bring it all the way back to the beginning. They've had a hard time getting this off the ground for a lot of economic reasons. The market changed, and the former partnership didn't evolve. We brought it back to the table. I insisted on bringing this gentleman along.
Yeah.
I've been in real estate since 1991 as the vice president for the banker for 10 years. That's how I got involved in this from the very beginning. We had a great relationship with the original partners. We've kind of watched this thing evolve or not evolve. Renee's been amazing and fantastic helping us get to this point. Your staff's been great at helping at this point to get the economics we need to be and just moving forward.
And you have some experience development, or with serving on planning commissions.
I've been planning commissioner for 5-6 years, comprehensive planning committee for 2040 comp plan. Been involved in all aspects of real estate for 28 years. Done commercial development, residential development, real estate sales, commercial, residential, land. Been around the real estate industry for quite some time. With real expertise.
Office building, rental property.
Yeah. This guy's got the,
things together.
he's the developer. He's got it going on.
My name's Steve Soltow. I've been involved with real estate development pretty much my whole career. Project that I'm currently involved with and have been involved with for some time that you'd probably be familiar with is at 169, 18, and 21. It's called Southbridge. It's Sam's Club, Walmart, Home Depot, Best Buy. We've done all of those commercial deals, and we've also developed about 1,000 home sites in the immediate vicinity. I'm currently working on another 59-lot subdivision there right now. We have a 300 plus unit apartment project underway there. I've grown up with this stuff, frankly. My dad was with Dayton Hudson Properties back when they were developing regional malls. So I grew up at a negotiation table talking about REAs and development and engineering aspects and feasibility and viability, and it's kind of been my whole life. I was at Target for a few years, practiced law for a number of years, evolved into this project, and then I've done a number of other land and commercial developments as well.
I felt strongly about Steve's skill sets. It's also Friday would not enter this project without him. So the conditions I brought to the new partnership, Steve had to come along. He's very, very talented. I'm the marketing guy, and he's the brave behind everything.
The common denominator is a gentleman by the name of John Blanchard, and John's been involved with this project since its inception. He formed the original group, and that group tried to get this thing off the ground several times, but what John's been complimenting me, but what he brings to this is also an understanding of what the product is and what the product mix is and what can sell. So one of the first things we did was change one of the elements in this project to be they're twin homes, but we're referring to them as single-family, single-level living. So it's a villa product. It might have a basement, if it's a walkout in particular, it might have a second level. But the idea is those of us that are aging can live in a home without having to do stairs every time we come in and out. And it's a very attractive product that's available. You can't find it. And that's what we're excited about bringing to market.
I think in the planning commission, city of Victoria is the biggest demand. People they grew up in the community, they want to stay in the community, there's no place to go. This type of product is just non-existent, and when it hits the market, it disappears very quickly. Back to the original question, we're hoping to have lots in the ground this fall.
Peace Hill gives these people vertical without doing stairs. Drive to their visibility, so we're excited about it.
Any comments, concerns, or anything with the planning commission or comments?
No, we have a few things that we've looked at and moved forward. We're hoping to bring forward a mix of product and detail on that product that rationalizes the PUD. PUD is fairly straightforward, otherwise a lot of what we're doing is conforming, but we also want it to be an exceptional product. We want it to stand out and it to be something that people are proud of.
Being on the planning commission, a lot of respect for the process. If you look at the previous concepts that brought to the table, they are challenging most of your straight by right zoning. We've done the very best we could to make everything by right. A couple of variations just because of where the land lays. You'll find 85-foot lots in the majority of the single family, where someone's staying with the boundaries there, 50-foot lots on the twin homes, so pretty much by right with most of the things. But we are going to have to do the PUD because we are changing the density with the executive twin homes, which I think your community can definitely use.
But in my mind, by right is meeting your code. We intend to do better than that.
Yes.
You know, we want this to be something that people are proud of.
I'm excited.
Any other questions?
If I may interject for a moment, Mayor, members of the council, and not to, as a lawyer, to be preaching math to you, but so the $7,000 and change lump sum payment is based on the tax rate that the property currently earns for the township. Because this worst case scenario, nothing happens on the property, it will still sit in your city for a 5-year period. So you presumably, if the tax rate stays at or above what the township is collecting, will recoup that entire down payment over the 5 years that it sits in your city before it goes back to the township.
More than likely, once it's annexed, that will probably have an impact on its value because now its developability has, its value has increased.
Right.
It might only be marginal, it could be more marginal, but it was
To make a profit.
yes.
Yeah.
It's, and if I may, just from our perspective, we're paying twice. We'll be paying along the way and we pay up front. So the township gets paid, the city gets paid. So kind of, we're the ones at risk on it,
Right.
candidly, and that's the way it should be. We're not objecting to that, so.
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any discussion before motion?
Motion to approve resolution 1931.
Motion by Timmerman, second by Bird. Any more discussion? So not, all in favor? Aye. Pretty easy, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll leave that shortly.
If all the stars align, we anticipate this may be on the July planning commission agenda for public hearing on the zoning and plat.
So who do we need to nudge at the state?
Nobody will get this submitted to the state tomorrow. The annexation will probably be processed within 2 to 3 weeks, and that hits us on July 5th, which is the application deadline for the July planning.
The staffer at the state who's been doing this forever is very good, and usually the customer service in that particular office is extremely high.
And they do have a quick turnaround for uncontested annexations.
Outstanding.
Sorry, I shouldn't have heard much state.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They could do that, but not license plates.
anything specific for council. I've sent out a couple email updates in the last week. If you have any questions on those or any other items, I'd be happy to respond. Otherwise, I don't have anything specific for the meeting.
Okay. Anyone have questions for council? Public Works,
Nothing to add?
you got a good tan going.
Except for this part.
Except for that part.
Right there.
I feel that's intentional. Just to
Got sensitive eyes.
violate the contract. Anyone have questions for Public Works? Okay.
Doing a great job out there, keeping
Thank you.
it mowed down and looking nice.
Pictures are the highlight of the packet, that's all it.
Try.
Yeah.
That's how I remember what I do every day. When you do 100 different things, you just gotta take a picture
Just-
sometimes.
Corey has a
Catalog.
good crew to back him up, so.
All right. Police Department, you've been busy.
Yes, we've been very busy. It's our busy season if there is one. Spring school's done. Tom's going to be rolling out through the city's website, the Facebook post, a campaign to hashtag 9 p.m., trying to make everybody's routine at 9 a.m. to secure your castle, if you will.
Shut
Put
the
down your
damn
garage door.
Been doing that again lately.
Lock your doors in your cars, remove your garage door openers from your cars. And just side note, we've been blessed for the last 2 years, but there is you see it quite a bit in the media now, there is a crew. They think of up to 50 people that spread out 8 to 10 in 2 cars, and they just hit neighborhoods in a certain community, 2 cars, 1 block from the other, and they do what we call garage shopping. They look for the open doors, they then open the door into the house, step in and grab purses, wallets, whatever you tend to throw right there by the door, and then get out of town, and they have at 24-hour gas stations, Walmarts, ATMs, they hit everything they can on your cards. So we're trying to get that routine for everybody at 9 o'clock, secure your house, drop your garage doors, lock your cars if they're sitting outside, and just kind of harden your target, if you will. So my officers have been out at night, and they're trying to help people shut their doors, leave notices, leave them crime prevention tips out there. So that's going to carry out throughout the summer, where we're going to every few weeks try to get that message out through social media and kind of keep an eye out, and then call with anything suspicious. So
Josh's address is public record, so it's,
I wouldn't
This is-
know.
this is a public
My
meeting,
garage
so-
is such a disaster.
And we
They'd be tripping over
Help
themselves.
yourself.
I'd hear them down there.
random garage sale.
We are really good, but they are purposely trying to hit as far out as they can and then get back into town. And like I said, we've been somewhat lucky so far, knock on wood, but if it's a crime opportunity. If the doors are shut, the cars are locked, no garage door, they go on to the next neighborhood. So just kind of self-protection type stuff.
I mean, I think I speak for the council, and I'd say how great it is to see how quickly you've acclimated in. I mean, we saw the pictures of you out of the school, giving someone a ticket. I don't know who it was on the bike, but.
It was the principal.
Oh,
He's
all
riding
right.
a little electric scooter through there, so.
That
was awesome.
Hopefully you didn't put the cuffs on him.
No, not there. Well, thank you very much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the entire, I think, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grades. It was about 400 kids, and it was a blast. It was really fun, so.
It's cool.
It's been great working with them, and I love what I do, so that's an awesome opportunity.
Nice.
So thank you.
Any questions for the Chief Brady?
I've got a dumb question. 130 extra patrols. What is that?
So, when someone calls and says they're gonna be out of town,
Okay.
so we go by their house and we walk around the property, check, make sure there's no broken windows.
Okay.
Say a council person's gonna have to leave a car out or something, and they want it watched. We'll make an actual ICR so we can document that we're doing those, and then it helps our officers track their activity at night. Wagner Park, we've made an agenda to protect that facility out there, so we actually have them log when they're out there and the time they're out there. Then if something happens too, we kind of have a general time. The church, the cemetery, kind of high traffic, crime type parks and areas, we try to make sure we do that. And then it helps me, who works during the day, to see what they're doing at night. And it's just a great program. So every one of those is an officer at that certain spot at that time, sitting there and just trying to protect whatever it is for that
Awesome.
day.
Okay, very nice, good.
Any other questions? Alright. Thanks, Brady. Safe to assume there's nothing for fire.
Engineering.
Today is Bolton Mink's 70th anniversary.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I want to make an age joke about when you started,
Wow, I did
have
too,
not been-
kinda.
But, of course, you can't be in business as your outfit and everybody else's knows without clients. And you guys have been a great client for Bolton Mink, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was at the top 150 luncheon, because our company was there, and I saw the Bolton and Main table.
Oh, yeah, we got that too.
Oh, yeah.
Is it still family business or?
No, no, both founders have passed on.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thanks, Rich. Community development.
On comp plan, you'll be receiving a Elko, hoping that you may be available for a special joint workshop of the plan commission sometime in July.
Are those flags new on 291 Christmas Pines? Was some of the surveyor out there doing something?
Yes, they are going to get started next week. The developer came in and posted his securities, letter of credit, signed the plat, development contract.
Any communications on the Boulder Heights?
Sent an email today. I talked to him about 3 weeks ago, and they thought they'd be out there in mid to late June, and I sent an email today and didn't get a response.
Okay. Any other questions for me? Parks. I saw Mark here.
He was here when council arrived. He didn't stay for the meeting. They conducted interviews this evening for the open Parks Commissioner position, so that will be, I will be on consent agenda.
Was there a good candidate?
We only had 3 candidates for the 2 spots,
Okay.
and the recommendation will be to reappoint the existing commissioners.
Okay. Any other follow-up questions on that? CCEC. Don's not here.
I know they had a meeting on Tuesday, but I don't know what happened with it.
My understanding is most of the discussion was going to be working through basically the finer coordination details for Fire Rescue Days, which is coming up here very quickly.
Other committee.
I was just gonna say, do you know if they need anything from us?
Last I heard, we are looking for a convertible for the Grand Marshal. Our normal go-tos are both unavailable this year.
Is that something we can post on FB and Facebook and see?
That's one of the options that we have discussed. We have a little bit of concern with that because if we just generally post it, if we're not familiar with the individual, there's a possibility of a no-show or cancellation the day of, and then we're stuck. So first option is to go to somebody we know we're familiar with, where we think there's a high degree of reliability. But we are looking at other options up to including if we have to rent it.
Any further relationship with the dealers around?
We are currently in the process of exploring that.
Otherwise, Joe said we can just a high-end one.
Put a pickup truck with an open back or something?
That is one of the options that's also out there.
Okay.
Who's the
Grand Marshal.
Grand Marshal?
Who has wanted to be the Grand Marshal
Is it
forever?
Sandy?
Yes,
Is it really?
It is.
Yes!
That is awesome.
That is so awesome.
Was she excited to find that out?
I think she knew she had it in the bag.
Oh, I'm so excited for her. That's wonderful.
Sorry, I'll miss a lot of the parade because we'll be in it.
Yeah.
Be fun to see Sandy at her
Oh,
finest.
she'll be, yeah, that's great. I don't see her sitting in a car. I see her out there walking and
Yeah,
talking to everybody.
yelling at people. And
Oh, she'll have candy to throw at people.
Oh, there you go.
That's true.
That is excellent. Very nice.
Other committee reports. Scale.
It's tomorrow.
Scale's tomorrow. Who's Kate? You'll be there. Josh.
I think so.
That'd be awesome.
I might just have to leave it like 8:30.
Okay.
Did you guys do your homework and answer those questions to bring to the roundtables?
No.
No?
I didn't know there was homework.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
It was kind of assigned at the last one and then somehow distributed. I don't know, I probably should have done my homework. Maybe I'll take a look. I mean, I kind of know what I have planned, so.
Is that an email you might have? I don't know if I got it.
Yeah, but Joe and I have been at the service delivery committee meetings where the facilitators have been presenting on what the format's gonna be. Really.
It's wingable. Just a thought about it.
It is. It's gonna come down to what do you think, there'll be some discussion on what do you think that the organization can do to improve itself? And then it's gonna be what do you wanna get out of it? And I think they're gonna be looking to try and get down to specific things that you think that the organization should be working on over the next few years. One of the messages, as I indicated, that, in one of my previous council updates is, they've advised the service delivery that they're gonna say, don't worry about it being too parochial. I mean, put it out there, because the reality is, we may have something that we feel is maybe too Elko New Market-ish for the whole county, but if somebody else has something similar and somebody else has something similar, it might be something that can be bundled together. Or the larger group might feel that it actually has a larger impact than we feel it does, so.
Yeah.
Bring it all.
Personally, kind of what I'm looking for as vice chair is kind of how many different ideas that get brought up that we really haven't spent any time on. And you guys have both been to enough scale meetings where you kind of have a feel for how scale works. I don't know that you have to spend a lot of time doing any research on anything, just come with your opinions, which you're never short of, so, especially Josh. I don't think there's anything else for scale. I'm not forgetting anything. MVTA.
John's not here, and
Oh,
he didn't give me anything to report, so.
Okay. I-35?
I didn't bring my notes with, but they talked about, as Commissioner Wolf said, autonomous cars, 2 months in a row. There's some things I'm potentially to think about soon as we're doing the roads and stuff, and with the markings and all that stuff, but otherwise, maybe the legislative updates. The HOV lane isn't changing to 3 people. The Dan Patch thing is still in place. Lakeville's getting Metro Mobility down to them. I connected with Josh Lee there. I'd be curious to see how that all goes, and if there's the service failures down there, to keep me posted on that. Trying to think what else. Oh, you had the meeting afterwards.
I had the meeting afterwards, so every so many years, the group will go through and they'll identify what their new projects are. In fact, the project list that was originally developed in 2013 and then saw a minor update in between, a lot of those projects actually aren't on the list anymore because they're done or they're funded and moving forward. And so they're kind of doing, not to borrow the scale thing, but a reboot on what's the new set of priorities. And so they're following the same process that they've used in the past, where all the members put in projects. The consultant that they've retained will go through and rank those. Those will be ultimately brought back to the tech committee on which I sit for some smoothing, because you have to test it against the group. And then it'll ultimately be brought back to the full membership for basically a decision on where the priorities are, where they rank, and where they want to put their resources and emphasis as an organization. Obviously, we've put in for their, reconstruction of the interchange at 2 and I-35. I continue to represent the small guy in the room, although I think we will have a challenge when we have projects like redoing the interchange at 494 and I-35 and other projects of fairly large scale. But I think this is part of the process as we continue to be on the board and it continues to get talked about. Are we going to get immediate funding, I think? Are they going to push for that? No, but we might be able to get enough support to start getting it onto the planning documents for the metro area, which it currently isn't. And that's the first step to getting funding. And so it's just steps in the process. So my role is to make sure it stays on the list. Josh's role will be to make sure that it gets, heard or gets visibility when it comes back to the larger group.
Any other questions on that? All right, Chamber of Commerce, we don't have anyone here. I don't know if you want to add anything on behalf of the
Just
chamber.
the golf tournament on the Friday.
Sound like it's getting booked up pretty good.
Sounds like it's getting booked up. I don't know final numbers. I wasn't at the last meeting, so.
When is the board meeting again?
Second Tuesday of the month,
Second Tuesday.
9 a.m., New Market Bank.
Okay. Josh, have you been to a board meeting? Are you able to make that?
Well, next one would be
So it'd
July.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What time did you say?
9 a.m.
These people run businesses too. You'd think they would avoid business time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can do that.
You can do that? All right, I'll let them know that they can.
Do you want to shoot me an invite, then I can throw it on my calendar?
Okay.
So you want Dawn to send you an invite?
Sure.
Okay.
And it said second Tuesday, right?
Yep, so it'd be July 9th.
And where's that at again?
Your stomping grounds,
Could just say New Market Bank.
New Market Bank.
All right, any discussion by council?
Oh, I do have one question. Are any members of the council, at least the ones that are here tonight, planning to participate in any of the policy committees for metro cities or otherwise? If that's the case, I think they should be appointed by the council so that they know that they're
Before
represented.
your update came out, I signed up for the Metro Cities Housing and Economic Development Committee and the LMC Improving Local Economies one.
Sweet.
Yeah,
All
good.
right, yeah. Is that
Very
good
nice.
enough, or need more direction or motion?
I think it would be helpful for Josh if you guys just make a motion to appoint the city's representative to those two committees.
Motion to appoint Josh Berg to Improving Local Economics and Housing and Economic Development.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. All right.
There you go.
Any other discussion? Any motions to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Anyone wants, I'll second it. All in favor, well, motion by Timmerman, second by Julius. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, meeting is closed.